Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're all doing well at home. This is the first video of unit number 4 that we're going to start, of course, today. Unit 4 is called changes. Okay, so in this unit, we're going to start talking about the past. The main goals of the unit are to talk about past events and talk about first times. So the first time you did something in your lives. Okay, so unit 1, 2, and 3 were all about the present simple, right? We talked about present simple positive, negative, and questions. And in this case, we're going to be talking about past, regulars and irregular verbs as well, right? So the first part of the unit is called Technology First. So let's talk a bit about these questions. Number 1 says, do you have a mobile phone? What do you use it for? So mobiles are very common nowadays. Almost everyone has a mobile, right? What do you use it for? You can use it to call people, right? To send text messages. You can also use it to browse the internet when you want to look for information. Social media nowadays is something very common, is what takes most of our times on our phones, right? Facebook maybe, but I think that's a bit old as well, right? Instagram, TikTok now, right? We can also take photographs or record videos, record audio files, right? We can work on our phones. Let's see, number 2, do you use a laptop? Do you use a laptop? Remember that the word is not notebook, as we use it in Spanish, is laptop. Now, how big is it? Do you have a big laptop or a small laptop? Does it have a big screen? What do you use your laptop for? Now that we are in this quarantine, what do you use it? Do you use it to play, to study, to watch videos like this one, or maybe to watch movies? Now, last one. Do you have a personal music player? Where do you use it for? Where do you use it? I'm sorry. So do you have one? Are they very common, or do you listen to music on your phone maybe? If you have a personal music player, where do you use it? At home? Or when you're traveling somewhere? Good. Now look at the pictures. Here we have some images, right? What's this? Then we have more images there, right? Now, do you think these sentences are true or false? The first one says, mobiles, laptops, and personal music players were inventions of the 1970s. Do you think that's true or false? They were all very expensive. So in the past, all of them, mobiles, laptops, and personal music players, were all very expensive. Is it true? Now, we're going to read about 3 small things that change the world. We're going to read about these different inventions, right? So let's see. We have the first mobile phone, and I'm going to read these for you, all right? So we have Martin Cooper, who worked for Motorola in the USA, made the first mobile phone in 1973. On April 3rd, he went for a walk in New York and used a new phone to call another communication company, AT&T. This was the first mobile phone call. 10 years later, in 1983, people could buy the mobiles in shops. The Dyna TAC 8000X, that was the name, right? It was more than 30 centimeters long and it costed $3,995. Then we have the first laptop. The first real laptop was the Great Compass. A British man, William Muggeridge, made it in 1979 for Grid Systems Corporation. It was 5 kilograms and had a 340 kilobyte memory. It was very expensive, about $9,000, but the US government liked the small computer and they bought a lot of them. The NASA used a grid compass on the space shuttle in the early 1980s. And then we have the first personal music player. It looked very weird, right? A German-Brazilian, Andreas Pavel, made a stereo belt in 1972. It had headphones and used cassettes. Pavel wanted people to have music everywhere they went. He met directors of electronic companies and they listened to the stereo belt but said people don't want to wear headphones and listen to music in public. So Pavel never sold his idea, but his personal music player was the first. Sony's Walkman was the second and people loved it. Now, read the article again on your own and complete these notes, right? Name, inventor, year, and the price. So now I'm going to show you the text again. You can pause it and identify that information. Let's see. So pause the video and complete the notes. Are you ready? So let's see. We have the first mobile phone. The name was the Dyna-TAC 8000X, right? The inventor is Martin Cooper, right? That's the inventor. The year that he invented, it was 1973. The price, $3,995, and the company in this case was Ford Motorola. Very good. What was the name of the first laptop? It was called the Grid Compass. The inventor was William Muggeridge. The year, 1979. Very good. The price was $9,000. And the company in this case was Grid Systems Corporation. Very good. And then we have the first personal music player. The name of the music player was Stereo Belt. The inventor was Andreas Pavel, right? And the year was 1972. Very good. Now let's see. Mobiles, laptops, and music players are different now. Very different from what we can see in the pictures. What other things are different from 20 or 30 years ago? How are they different? So try to think about other technological devices, right, or inventions, and how they have changed over time. You can think about TVs, cameras. Let's see. It says, well, cameras are very different now. They're very small, and what else can you say about cameras now? They allow you to record very long videos. They have very good quality. Yes, the pictures have a very good quality. They sometimes the screen is touch. It has a touch system and they don't have buttons, right? Think about TVs. In the past, TVs were very big and bulky and heavy, right? Computers have changed as well. Very good. Now, let's talk about the past. Of course, one of the most important things we're going to use when talking about the past is using past verbs, right? When you read a text and you're able to identify that the verbs are written in past, you know that we are talking about something that happened a long time ago, right? So if you have a look at this list, we have regular and irregular verbs. Now, do you know the difference? Very simple. Regular verbs are those that when you want to change them into past, you have to add ed at the end. So in the example here, we have used and used, right? All of these verbs are regulars, which means that to create them, you only have to add ed at the end. Very simple. Now, the problem comes that we also have irregular verbs. That means that when we want to change a verb into past, we create another verb, right? Which is, of course, very similar, but it changes, right? So in the case, we don't say made, right? We say made. That's a new verb. So in this case, when we have the verb made, we know that we are talking about the past. Now, if we go back to the text, a good exercise is for you to identify which verbs are written in past. So, let's see. I'm going to erase this, right, so you don't get confused. So, now read this part and try to identify which verbs are written in past. So look at the title. We have change, the word change, right? That is a verb written in past. Now let's see. We have worked, right? Who worked. We also have made, went, what else? Used, was, and we have was as well. Now let's go to the next one. What verbs in past can you find here? We have was, made, was again, liked, bought, and used. Very good. Pay attention to the verbs that are regulars and irregulars. We have, for example, liked, used with the ed at the end, and we have bought, a complete new verb. And in the last part, what do we have here? I'm sorry. We have made, had, wanted, went, met, listened, said, sold, was, and was one more, loved. Very good. Now, let's go again and finish this exercise. So now, write the pasts of each of the verbs. Pause the video and write the correct past form. Are you ready? So let's see.
Track 45. Regular. 1.
used,
2,
worked,
3,
liked,
4,
wanted,
5,
listened,
6,
loved, irregular, 7,
made,
8,
went,
9,
cost,
Pay attention that in the case of cost, the verb remains the same. Cost and cost. It doesn't change, but it's also considered irregular. Cost and cost.
10,
had,
11,
bought,
12,
met,
13,
said,
14,
sold.
Did you have them all correct? Very good. Now, next exercise. These are short texts with information that we already know because we read the previous text, right? About Muggeridge and Pavel. So, read these extracts and complete the gaps with one of the verbs from the box. You can't use them more than once. You only have to use them once. But, of course, changing the verb into past. Okay? So try to identify which verbs fits the gap. You can go back to the text in case you need more reference. All right? So pause the video now and complete the text. Are you ready? So I'm going to be typing the answers here. We have Muggeridge worked for Grid Systems Corporation. His laptops cost about $9,000, but the American government bought them and used them on the space shuttle. Very good. Then we have Pavel made the stereo belt in 1972. He went to some electronic companies and he met the directors. They listened, right? They listened to the personal stereo, but said it was a bad idea because it had headphones. They said no one wanted to listen to music with headphones. Right. Very funny thinking that we all listen to music with headphones nowadays, right? When we are in the metro or in the bus, right? Funny to think about. Very good. Now, there are more exercises of this type in the virtual classroom if you want to check them out, right? So you can practice a bit more. And the list of verbs is on page 160. I'm going to upload it separately as well in the Aula, so you know the verbs that you truly need to learn for this course, right? They are a lot. I think they are about 50 maybe, but it's very necessary for you to learn them, okay? Now, final activity, listening. So we're going to listen to Sang-mi. She's Sang-mi from South Korea, and she's going to talk about technology in her life. So we have two activities. The first one is that we have to identify, is she good with new technology or not, right? Because we have sometimes people that are not very good with technology. For example, my father, he's not that old. He's around 50, I think, right? But he's very bad with technology. right? So maybe that's the case of sang me as well. And then we have a second activity, which is to say when was the first time sang me did these things. When it was the first time she had a mobile phone, she sent a text message, she used a computer, the first time she bought a CD, and you have to say when, the time, right? If you pay attention here in the box, we have three different ways of talking about time. Yes, we have the word last week, last month, last year, right? Which means pasado, right? La semana pasada, el mes pasado, el año pasado. Yes. Be careful because we don't say last day. That is wrong. I have it seen. Last day. That's incorrect. We say yesterday, which is and also a time expression of the past. Then we have in. We can use it with years, like you can see here, in 1993, in 1998, in 2003, and we can use it in months. So you can also say in June, right, or in October. Be careful because if you're using months, sometimes it's going to be difficult to know if you're talking about this June, future, or the last one. So you can say last June as well, or you can use the verbs in past to confirm that you're talking about the past, right? And the last expression is 6 months ago, 6 or 7 years ago, about 25, years ago, right? Ago is the expression that we're going to use here after a period of time, right? So we can say 2 days ago, right? It doesn't have to be a long period of time. You can say 2 days ago, 3 days ago, a week ago, a year ago, right? Or use these other times expressions. Let's listen and do this exercise, okay?
Track 46.
Sang me.
My first mobile phone. I think it was in 1998. I didn't use it a lot. I can't remember my first text message. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago? I'm not very good with technology. The first time I used a computer was at school. That was about 25 years ago. I think I bought my first CD in 1993. It was Cesaria Evora, my favorite singer. I got an MP3 player last year, and that's the first time I bought music online. My boyfriend gave me a digital camera in 2003, but it wasn't very easy to use. I have a good one now, and I use it all the time.
Okay, so if you need to listen again, you can go back the video and listen again, right? So, when was the first time Sangmi? First, is she good with technology? No, right? She said that she isn't very good with technology. So that means that she has problems, right? Maybe using her phone, or her computer, right? Or he's not very active in buying the new stuff, right? Now, when was the first time Sanmi had a mobile phone? That was in 1998. In 1998. Very good. What about the first time she sent a text message? She said 6 or 7 years ago, right? 6 or 7 years ago. When was the first time she used a computer? She said it was at school about 25 years ago. A long time, right? 25 years ago. The first time she bought a CD was in 1993. The first time she bought music online was last year, right? When she got her MP3 player, I think. And the first time she used a digital camera was in 2003. Okay? Very good. Now try to answer these questions using your own information and expressions from here, right? Remember, we're talking about the first time, la primera vez, right, to do this. So, when was the first time you had a mobile phone? The first time I had a mobile phone was around 2005, right? If you pay attention, you can say 2005, or you can also say 15 years ago, right? Both mean the same, 2005 or 15 years ago. And the first time I sent a text message was probably at the same time, right? Like 15 years ago. When was the first time you used a computer? The first time I used a computer, I think it was around maybe 20 years ago. The first time you bought a CD? Well, I actually have never bought a CD in my life. My father gave CDs to me when I was around 5. And that is also another expression that you can use. You can also say when I was, and then you can use your age. When I was 5 years old, or you can also say when I was a child, because you're not child anymore. Or if you're older than me, maybe, I don't know, above 30 years old, you can say when I was young, right? That's also another expression. Now, this is another one that is very common, number 5. When was the first time you bought music online? Maybe nowadays we have music subscriptions like Spotify, right? So the first time I bought music online, it would be around 3 years ago, I think. What about you? When was the first time you used a digital camera? In my case, the first time I used a digital camera was around 2004, I think. Probably around that time. Can you answer these questions? Try to use different expressions. There we go. So, this is the end for today. Practice. Go to the virtual classroom and do the exercises that we have there. And I think I will see you very, very soon. All right. Bye bye.